I wish we had captured the prayer, but that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and start with. Hopefully, you can see the 30-day mental diet. This week we'll be discovering ourselves on the seventh day, and hopefully you can see it. Boom, and it's by Willis Kinnear, and so if you notice, the trend that's been going on is how we're thinking and how we draw things within ourselves. And so I was speaking with Donna before we began about the incident with the uh, copyright tag, unintentional copyright tags. And so at first I was kind of like deflated. And then I thought, oh, that took the wind out of my sail. But then I thought, oh, that put the wind in my sail, because it's okay if I can't use the material, it's still available to me. So what I can do is read it and evolve and create content and share it with us, and we can continue to move forward. So, um, applying that principle, then we can move forward and rise to higher heights. And the other thing that came up was, we have to be careful of that we don't come to the thing that we don't want to be, and that we don't embody, present, project, demonstrate that characteristic. That being said, the example that I noted in the conversation is, you're driving down the street, somebody cuts you off, that nagging um, human being in the workplace that doesn't seem to get along with everybody, um, or the person that's in the grocery store aisle that just in the middle of the aisle and just oblivious that other people are trying to get by. And we are sharing with our each other and our friends or whoever we talk to, and this was this and that was that, and oh this and woe me. And it hit me that when that is happening, we're demonstrating the actions of what we don't want to be. I know we are human beings and we have to grow into the space of not being so reactive, so that we continue to apply and embody these principles that we try to do each and every day. As human beings, sometimes some things do make sense. However, you know, I also have to know that we all come from the product of everything that has ever happened to us. And so sometimes things that we're seeing aren't just we may all see it the same, but we don't know what's going on with the other individual. And sometimes we just have to rethink what we're seeing and how we're going to act instead of react. And each and one of us will, whatever needs to come for each and one of us will come when it needs to come. For me, it's like, okay, I'll come back to this aisle at another time and I'll go get whatever else is on my list. Or, okay, I guess you are in a hurry someplace, so I'll let up off the accelerator because I'm not going to try to not let you in and put myself at in danger trying to not let you in. See, when we start adding to that energy, it expands and explodes. And now in that vein, and the last point I'll make, the campaign we have now socially, if you watch the news or world news, is this thing of de-escalating. That thing that we don't want to be, we become because we just layer on top of that negative energy. And in extreme cases, it doesn't always turn out good. So the thing that I want to impress is just to be conscious of what we think and how we're thinking, and try to be so grounded that we can be an observer. Some people call it self-awareness of ourselves as well as our thoughts. Not to mean that we don't become human and don't have emotions, but we can grow into a space that we are more aware of how we act instead of being react. And so that being said, I'll start with the topic of the day, which is discovering yourself. And it says you are a partnership with the creator of the universe. And so our consciousness, intelligence, and ability to think is part of infinite intelligence in us as us. Its thoughts is creative and so is our and so is ours at the level of our expression. I'm trying to put this in third person of it. We are a co-creator with the one mind. As a tangible creation and manifestation of the one mind, what what are we doing about it? What can we do about it? What need we do about it? There will appear to be a responsibility that is largely unrecognized, an obligation to fulfill that is not fully comprehended. And this comes from not knowing the nature of who we are, the value of discontent. Oh, that ad lib conversation seemed to be falling right on in. But anyway, there is a need to discover ourselves, to become aware of the divine urge that is forever pressing forth from the center of us, seeking greater recognition and itself through us. We have time and time again experienced the creative urge for expression. We must be creative in our life or feel deeply frustrated, whether our desire or achievement takes the form of a masterpiece of art or a chocolate cake. We must express love, else hate will gnaw within us, destroying health and happiness. There must be a givenness in all we do. Otherwise, we are only depriving ourselves. The universe deprives us of nothing, but continually strives to express through us. Any lessening of the discontent we may feel can be achieved only through creative expression. It is divine content which drives us on toward ever greater accomplishments. Creative endeavor. All things we know, we have experienced them, but are we fully aware of their necessity and their larger implication? They are a reflection through us of the very nature of the universe, which is always creative. We can determine that the patterns of our thoughts shall be in accord only with the harmonious actions of the universe. As we discover that God is not sick, a failure, or unhappy, we will find that there is no reason for us to have these or similar experiences. In fact, when we do have them, we only we are only denying
Was
our
really
real.
like
I'm sorry.
not doing well.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't get,
Barely
I shouldn't get out of the moment because
and it straightened me
Oh,
up.
okay.
It straightened me up when I went
You have to
to.
put it on mute. When we do have them, we are only denying our real identity as a divine creation. We are a part of life. Every moment of every day, through the process of what we think, we are establishing the patterns or modes of our experiences. What is it going to be? Are we going to be Are we going to let our thinking follow the well-worn path of race belief in the necessity of sickness, poverty, and unhappiness? Or are we going to stand up and declare to ourselves that we know we are a part of life, claim its inherent good in and as our experience, and become a co-creator with God at the level of our expression of God? This we should learn to do. It is a necessity. In fact, if we are to get the most out of living, if we are to get the most out of living, whereas previously we may have had the feeling that was all wrong with life, now as we discover ourselves for what we really are and align the pattern of our thinking with the nature of the infinite, we will find ourselves creative only of good in our life and that of others. We are a co-creator with God. Accept the fact that we are a co-creator of the infinite creator. We have been all alone. all along, but look at some of the things in our life that through ignorance, we alone have been responsible for. We can discover and avail ourselves of the nature and actions of of the infinite at the creator of our being and accept and permit its full expression of good in and through every aspect of our life. When we do, we will have discovered ourselves. This is the greatest thing any man or woman can do. This is the marvelous adventure in living, the endless achievement of being ever more of what we are or who we are. There is nothing to limit us, no seeming barriers that cannot be overcome. There is no struggle or battle to wage. The stepping stones of the discovery of the greater us, or you, are to be found in our increased awareness of the nature of God life, our relationship to it and obligation to express it, the removal of any and all limiting concepts of pattern of thought which are preventing its full flow through us. As we discover what we really are, we open the doors to a greater experience of all the good that life has to offer. And now from what I just went through reading and discussion was, I'm gonna break it down through, science, from a science point of view, a philosophical point of view, and a religious point of view. The science point of view comes from the author, from the AUTHOR author, named Arthur, ARTHUR Compton. And the philosophical point of view comes from John Budden, and the religious point of view comes from the Bible, John 5:26. And I'll restate all of these as I read their points of view. Science. The second aspect of God that I recognize is the basis of existence and of life and motivation, which I think of as conscious power. The power appears to me as having a spiritual concern for its conscious creatures who share the responsibility for sharing their part of the world. The opportunity to share with God the shaping of the condition of life is a tremendous challenge and great responsibility that comes with freedom. Arthur H. Compton. Philosophy. Always there is the creative life of God working in and through us, as we are prepared for it and cooperate with it. We must believe that the forces of the spirit are stronger than any material forces, that thoughts rule the world. In our ideal creativeness and the faith which is its inspiration, we are in a small measure architects with God of the universe, builders of the nobler temple of the future. John Boodin, Budden. Excuse me, y'all. Religion's point of view. It's a scripture from John 5:26. As the Father has life in himself, so has he given it to the Son to have life in himself. Discovering ourselves summed up in the diet. I know that every human being is a creation of God, a person of God, and I am that individual now. We are that individual now. God is forever creating and becoming his creation. The nature of God is never diminished by what he creates, but I have yet to fully awake to all that I am. God is what I am. All of God is where I am. My mind is an individualized expression of the mind of God. God speaks and it is done. I speak my word and it is creative as my life at the level of my expression and awareness of God. I now declare and affirm that only the perfect harmonious actions of God what appears in and through my life and experience. I accept the responsibility of causing this to come to pass through the creativeness of my own thoughts. Today, I straighten out my thinking. In full awareness of myself as a co-creator with God, I now create, I now declare that from this moment on, all patterns of my thinking shall always be in according with the greatest possible good, which normally and naturally becomes manifest through the law of mind in every aspect of my life, our life, collective life, one mind. I added that at the end. Capsule supplement. I recognize and affirm that the creative action of the spark of divinity that resides at the creative of our being, now unhindered by our negative thinking, goes forth anew into fuller expressions of our lives. And so it is. And so, as we get ready for this Reiki session, then we send it out ahead of time. We lift up our cohort, Julie Jen, and her experience. We know that every individual, friend, professional, scientist is in alignment with her greatest good, and the feeling that this discomfort that she may have at this moment is only temporary, and it leads to nothing but a full, complete recovery. We know that to be true, we claim it, and so it is. And so if you have your symbols, you can go ahead and put them in the room at your leisure. I'll go ahead and start the precepts, and then we'll begin to go into Reiki. We'll send Reiki to ourselves, then we'll send Reiki to each other, and then we will close the Reiki session. I put in the chat that this artist I like, he just named Bruno, Bruno, San Felipe. His music is nice. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just like put my Spotify, my Pandora, or whatever streaming services I have on. And as I go about my day in the house, whatever I'm doing, if something catches me, I know I like it. So this is one of those, stop doing what you're doing, go like it, touch it so you can get a heart and remember that, oh, I can play that in a Reiki session. So this is one of those moments. So that'll be the music as we send Reiki. So just for today, we are free of anger. Today, we are free of worry. Today, we will show gratitude. Today, we are diligent in all our undertakings. Today, we treat all beings with love and kindness. Today, we only use our words for our best and highest frequency. Just for today, we have no worries. Today, we are free of worries. Today, we are free of anger. Today, we are showing gratitude. Today, we are diligent in our undertakings. Today, we are treating all beings with love and kindness. Today, we are using our words for our best and highest frequency. Just for today, we are free of worry. We are free of anger. We are showing gratitude. We are diligent in our undertakings. We are treating all beings with love and kindness. We are continuing to grow and evolve in the knowledge of our divine powers from within. And we are using our words for our best and highest frequency. Shokare, shokare, shokare. And so I'll call out the body parts as we go and we just do them all together. And just 1 second to set ourselves up. Okay, we'll begin with the crown of our head and we'll spend 2 minutes on each chakra. And we begin now. Remembering to consciously breathe deep, long, slow, deep breaths in, long, slow, deep breaths out. Move to our third eye. Move to our eyes. Move to our throat chakra. Move to our chest. Move to our solar plex. Move to the space just below your navel. Now we're sending Reiki to each and every one of to each other. I know the divine spirit knows everything and all our needs, even before we ask. But in that vein, I also ask that it goes to each and every individual under the sound of my voice, that it touch everything that will lead us to our best and highest good, that it remove any unnecessary hindrances to our best and highest good. And I ask that we be all touched in our health, into our finances, and to anything that assists us to our greatest good. And now we draw the symbol over the space right below your navel, which of your choice. Clasp your hands over the space. And we seal this Reiki session with the blood of Jesus, the love of Jesus, and the light of Jesus. And so it is. And everyone can slowly, comfortably begin to come back and open your eyes if they're closed. So here we are. Change our thinking, change our life, and everything seemed to like serendipitously be connected. So as I move forward, the format is going to change a little bit. So it may be no music, or I may take some text and just make my own speech. But we want to be respectful of others. And I am not endorsing, well, I'm not saying not endorsing, but I like San Bruno's music, but he's not paying me to say I like it. So I say all that just so we can be respectful and color within between the metaphorical lines. That being said, anyone that wants to come off and express, please do so.
Thank you, Melvin. I just want to say thank you. And I also had a question. How did they find out that, do you know how they knew that we used the copyright information?
No, it was specifically John Kabat-Zinn. And
the creator.
Yeah.
The creator.
Right, but it was a master class that was on, that anybody that can hear me now could go out to YouTube and play it. And so I didn't question it. I just said, okay. And plus I also know, you know, the more, the higher income and the higher you are in the stratosphere of business, the more tools you have to know when people are using your content. So, but the more direct answer would be, I do not know.
I understand.
But there is an algorithm that actually goes in and throughout, because I was on my way before COVID, on my way to work, and I was in a good mood. It was a Friday. One of my favorite songs came on, and I flashed my camera at the radio and played maybe like 30 seconds of it and said happy Friday to everybody. And then later on, Instagram told me that it was copyrighted, but it was being played on the radio. So, and it was Sony Music Library. So I told them they could remove it. I really didn't ask them to tell them they can remove it. They just removed it and I was okay with it. But so I really don't know the intricacies of that.
Well, thank you though. I learned something. I'm surprised too, because I would have thought it would have been available for public use if it was out there.
In the public domain.
Right. That's what I would have thought too, but you live and learn, I guess.
Right. So I think what I'll do is I'll do a search for music that's in the public domain and I'll use that. just to be on the safe side.
Sure.
Yes,
Thank you for explaining that.
you're welcome.
Yeah, I wonder if, if I'm understanding this correctly, it was shared on Instagram, but I'm wondering if the recording of these videos and then posting them on Alice's website is also somehow, like if we were to play a video in here and the fact that it's on the website, maybe that also could help them find it. I don't know, because
Right, and it could also
on
be, right, it could also be the association. I won't be using music anymore. I just read a message. So what to your point, yes. And also I'm speaking from what I've observed. Like some people may not want their music associated with certain other entities, especially I've noticed during the political, when we as the Americans start going through our political elections and people start playing music in the background for their come out on the stage and speech song, certain artists will say, I don't want my music associated with you, so don't play my music when you're going up to make your speech. So it's all learning stuff. So like I said, so as we go forward, it'll just be us, and we'll evolve it from there. It'll still be good.
Hey, Melvin, I have a question for you. First of all, thank you so much for leading one of these Reiki shares. They're such a valuable tool for all of us. And I'm really so grateful that you've stepped up and that you lead us, and always appreciate you doing that. I have a question for you there. So when you do the Reiki to the body, I've noticed that you include the eyes and you don't include the root. And I'm just curious if there's a thought behind that.
There is a thought behind that, because I want us to be together and be focused, and I don't want us to get into that. Is this going to end already? So I didn't go all the way down and come all the way back up. So I'm thinking, like, do it long enough where you hold their attention, but not so long to where you begin to lose them.
Okay.
That's why I don't go all the way down to the root.
Just curious, because I've noticed that.
But if you guys want to go to the root, we can go to the root and come all the way back up. You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, well then, happy April. Happy April. And this has been the shortest winter in the Northeast that I've ever experienced. Blooms in February, birds in February, like robins, cardinals, all of them coming in already, and plants coming out of the ground. But anyway, I think you all continue to pray for us, pray for the whole service. This has been a learning lesson, and we will go forward legally and spiritually. Okay, take
Thanks
care,
again.
everybody. Have a
Have a
good
great
one.
week.
Okay, bye-bye.